Thanks for tuning in to the Football Talk Squadron. I'm Dutch.
And I'm Pops.
And welcome to Week 17 NFL action. Got a lot more clear on the playoff picture. Pops gets the monumental win in overtime against the Pack. You know, you feel like the Aaron Rodgers curse of owning the Bears is over?
Not complete.
I'm glad that you put it that way, because do you know if the season ended today who the Bears would play in the playoffs in the wild card weekend?
The Packers.
The Packers. Now, it was a great moment. So Pop's oldest is a Bears fan, because you take after your dad, you cheer for your dad's team. And I told him, I was like, hey, make sure you record, because he's getting to watch, you're 8, you're getting to watch the game live pretty much. And he gets to live the moment of the Bears winning. And it was great to watch. You see the joy in a kid's face. But I didn't have the heart. I was like, I'll save this till we're on the podcast. It's like, I hope Pops looked at him and go, hey, son, enjoy that while it lasts. I've lived through this pain before, man. But, I mean, great win by the Bears. We'll get to them here in a minute, of the Bears and Caleb Williams and the progression, Ben Johnson, the offense. There's a lot of good things to talk about. We will get to them. But we'll get into the Thursday Christmas games. We get 3 of them. Looks like we're going to be forced to talk with our families this year, because the games are not super competitive and honestly don't really have there's only one game that has any type of playoff implications, but it's super low. So the first one, which has no playoff implications because both teams are eliminated, Cowboys, Commanders. Dallas is 7-point favorites. Commanders really came out and played very well last weekend, had a good battle, came up short against the Eagles, and really ended it with a melee with the Eagles' offensive line. And then you got Dallas, who came out and at first looked like they were competitive with the Chargers. Chargers really took over the game and won 34-17. So going into this week, do you like Dallas to close out the season on a positive note and try to get back to 500? Or do you think the Commanders come out and pull off a shocker?
Yeah, I don't see the Commanders winning this game. I think Dallas is still potent on offense. Like, their defense has a lot of struggles, but like you were saying, that first half against the Chargers, I mean, Dallas was in the game. Dallas had the opportunities. Obviously, later on in the game, everything kind of fell through for them. But I still think, this is the typical progression that you feel like the Bears would have saw out of the first year with Ben Johnson, and we're seeing it with Schottenheimer. You still got a decent team, but there are a lot of holes going all the way back to the Micah Parsons trade. Just everything that happened preseason for the Cowboys, and just not really doing anything. Jerry threw a Hail Mary trying to bring in Quinnen Williams, trying to save face. Like, this all just boils back down to Jerry Jones and his mishandling of the team. But as far as it goes with the Commanders without Jalen or Jane Daniels playing, like, I don't see the Cowboys having an issue here.
The stat I'll pull out is why I like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's 12-2 against the Commanders. Has really dominated them through the whole series. Now, last year they did lose to Jaden Daniels, but as you pointed out, Jaden's not playing this year anymore with the elbow. Commanders, their age has really showed up this year. Like, I still like Cliff Kingsbury. I still like the offense. When Jaden's healthy, I think that signing Scary Terry was probably an overreach now based upon how the play's going. I think that they're going to come to regret that in terms of the cap next season. And we're going to talk about this a lot in the next game that we'll talk about. But from a standpoint of, if you want a quarterback to have success, you got to have a good offensive line. Yep. It's not that's why Dallas is doing so well, because Dak has a good offensive line. Like, They are blocking well, and it's wide. He has time, and they're running the football super. Like the whole offensive efficiency goes through the roof when you have a good offensive line, and it looks just like the Commanders are right now when you don't. And that to me is their number one fix in the offseason. Like, and I think that's a case for a lot of NFL teams going into this draft. Like, I don't think it's a super heavy quarterback draft, but I do think from a standpoint of guys needing interior and tackles and centers, like I can see this being a heavy offensive line draft and defensive line for guys. Like, it's just one of those years that a lot of teams have died on the sword of not winning the trenches. So that to me is why Dallas comes out of this game. Like, Washington has 2 players suspended because of the fight from the defensive line. Like, that to me, you can go ahead and take that to the bank that Dallas blows the brakes off of Washington. That's what my gut says. Next game, Lions, Vikings. Lions come off of have you seen a wilder ending to a game?
No. Like, OPI, no touchdown was scored, OPI negates it, game over. Like,
I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know that the game ended on an offensive, because when they called it, I was like, okay, we're going to have another play. And I did not know the game ended on that. I've never seen the game end on that note, ever. Did you think it was offensive pass interference?
No.
I didn't either. Like, just because Jalen Ramsey doesn't move, like, you can't obstruct the receiver's route. Like, and even a couple plays before with Tesla, like, was it a pick? Yes. Was it the most obscene pick I've seen in a long time? Like, I've seen far worse not get called. That to me, the Lions got robbed in the game. Now, I say that at the same time, the Lions had plenty of opportunities in that game to just get it back and to stop Jaylen Warren from ripping off 50-yard runs for 6. And it's like they couldn't do it. You talked about it, in text. Bad season for the Lions.
Well, and I think another thing, too, was if you remember that drive, the Lions got 2 penalties that bailed them out and kept the chains moving on that last drive. Like, yes, there were plenty of opportunities before that, but it was kind of like, hey, let's kind of level it out in the most controversial way. And we ended the game, because they got the pass interference, and there was another one, I think maybe illegal contact, automatic first down, something like that, something small. But, dude, it just goes to show, like, I know where you're going to go with your discussion, so I'm gonna let you have it. But I talked about it, I love MCDC. I don't think he's the problem. Like, at all, I don't think Dan Campbell is the issue. What I do see is the play calling is not – without Jahmyr Gibbs, that offense would just be another run-of-the-mill offense in the league. Like, probably middle of the barrel or lower, in terms of efficiency. Like, yes, you've got Amon-Ra, you've got Jameson Williams. Like, you've got the players out there. But there's also no protection on the offensive line, which I'm going to let you get into your diatribe on Jared Goff. But I think also we're seeing the lack of offensive creativity from Ben Johnson, which I'm reaping the rewards from. And I think it's an evident decline without Jahmyr Gibbs with that Lions offense.
Yeah, the interior Frank Ragnow was a all-pro center, Pro Bowler that retired. And when he retired after the draft. So it really sort of pinholed him into we don't have a center now. And the interior is they have a rookie guard playing Ratledge from Georgia. The interior hasn't lived up. It's really been a thorn in Detroit's side the whole season. And is that a problem? Yes. I think it's compounded with the fact that all quarterbacks can be pressured, and you're going to be pressured. Like Matthew Stafford was pressured for years in Detroit, and they found ways to win. There was that stat a few weeks ago that we've talked about that Goff is in the bottom 5 of all-time quarterbacks when under pressure. Like, historically bad. The other stat I want to, and this is where I'm going with this, to ask you. So this will be the end of Campbell and Goff's 5th season together. And the reason I bring that up, no coach with a quarterback who has played for 5 seasons has ever in NFL history after that point won a Super Bowl together if they didn't win one during that first 5 years. So do you think that there's any chance that Campbell moves on from Goff?
I mean, I hope so. You know, like, nothing against Jared Goff. Like, he came in there and he played the position fairly well. And like you said, under pressure, he is god-awful. And that's the thing. They don't have an offensive line. And honestly, like, his play this year has not been what it's been the last 2 seasons. You know, and it's only been a steady decline. And it's more apparent this season than it was in prior years. But you look at it when they were in the playoffs and got boat raced by Washington. You know, nobody saw that coming. You know, and what happened? Jared Goff turned the ball over. You know, cost him the game. Like, that to me, you know, just speaks that when his contract's up, I think they're going to move on. Like, I think Dan Campbell's there to stay. I think he's gained that notoriety because he's the best coach that they've had, you know, in the better part of 2 decades. The question is, you know, who are they going to replace Jared Goff with?
He's with the Lions through 2028, so they'd have to make a trade. The only, what I'm about to say, if it ever happened, it would rattle the foundation of the NFL. The only guy that I honestly think they could pull away from a team that I would sit back and if you said that he's on the team next year, you go, they're probably winning the Super Bowl. And I think the organization would do it just because that organization it's who they are. How many first round picks do you think they'd have to give up to go get Joe Burrow? Do you think it's ever a possibility? Like, I could see the Bengals doing that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I really don't think it would take that many just based on how the way that they handle that front office. You know, like, realistically speaking. But
because there was a report out there that the Dolphins offered 4 first-round picks to the Bengals so they could take Burrow in the draft. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen. Whether or not that was true or not, do you think 4 would get it done now?
I would say yes. I mean, because, like, now it's like, hey, we're invested in this guy and we don't have anything to provide for him. Like, we can't get anything else because we're tied up with Hendrickson, Chase, Higgins. You know, it's like we could cut that, you know.
You get 4 first-round picks and Jared Goff.
Yeah. Or, you know, and also, you know, your conditional, you know, late-round picks as well. Like, I could definitely see that could work.
I think that's what the Lions have to do.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't – interior's hurting. You can fix guard and center in free agency. Why do I say that? Look at the Chicago Bears. You're Chicago Bears. Thuney. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Two Pro Bowlers, Dalman and Thuney.
There you go. Like, they were able to go out and sign guys. Now, they traded, but it was not first-round picks. Like, they didn't go spend a first round on a center or guard. I think it was a 3rd or 4th-round pick for Thuney. Like, they did what they needed to. But from a standpoint of, you look at the Lions and you go, I don't think the window's shut, but it's clear that Montgomery's too old now. Yep. Like, the Sonic and Knuckles 1-2 punch, that's over. Yep. Like, if anything, it sort of reminds me of like where the Bears are at with Swift and Monangai. Like, Monangai is clearly the Gibbs. Like,
yes,
he is a rookie guy, and I think that in a season or two, Swift is for sure the second stringer. Like, Monangai will be that dude. Swift will be your power back, much like Montgomery. I think Swift still got some stuff in the tank, but every time I've seen Montgomery, I just go, man, he doesn't look like he did last year. Like, it's not as effective when he's on the field as it was from a few seasons ago. Sam Laporta had back surgery, so they're missing their tight end, but you're going to get him back. You got Jameson, you got Amon-Ra, you'll get Laporta back You have Gibbs. Like from a offensive standpoint, you're fine. I think that their defense still has question, much like Cincinnati's. But from a standpoint of can you get that? Will Joe Burrow overcome that? Yeah. Like, dude, like that to me, I don't know why we don't have more of those happen. Like,
I mean, it'd almost be LSU level. And like just looking at it on paper, with the speed of Jameson, you've got a sure hand in Amon-Ra that catches literally almost everything. Like all hats off to him because that guy catches almost everything thrown his way. And then you got an elusive back. Like, that would be unreal.
And see, I sort of look at it also from the standpoint of almost like this Brady effect, that if somehow Campbell was to make that trade happen and pull in Burrow, there would be some guys that come in there to just be like, yo,
I want to play.
I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, I think we could win a Super Bowl in Detroit this year. Like, but I sit back and I look at the rest of the division, and it's like, so you got to compete against Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and that all-star cast next season. Again, like, something has to change for Detroit, and Goff is the linchpin. Like, we said it 2 years ago. The Lions were one Matthew Stafford away from going to the Super Bowl. Like, true. Like,
yeah.
Now, granted, they took the Stafford trade and was able to acquire picks that got them Gibbs, got them the guys that they have today. But now that you have those guys, it's like they're only getting older. At some point, and that's the reason I asked that question is, it's like, do you think, I think Campbell remains committed to Goff, and it will sort of take them both down because that's the Lions are, as much as I'd love to sit back and go, the Lions won't fire Campbell, they for sure will, because that's everything I know about the Lions. I would let him run until he proves that he can't draft well, but you got to get rid of Goff.
And that's the thing. Like, the one thing that stands to me is, like, it would just be the loyalty test, because the video that was playing in my mind is just Dan Campbell at the podium. He's like, Jared Goff is our guy. It's just like that just clip just keeps playing in my head while we're sitting here talking about this. But it's a decision that has to be made, outside of, fixing the line. I mean, they always got to fix the defense because that defense is pretty atrocious.
It's so hard to find corners.
Yeah.
Like, it is. It's the reason it's the most drafted first-round pick is the position cornerback, because they are just, every time you think you got one, it turns out more times than not it's an absolute dud. Like, it just sucks. Now, back to the game. They're playing the Vikings. Detroit's -6 favorite. Don't know if J.J. McCarthy's playing. I think the best thing for the Lions is if he does play. Because, look, we'll get to it with the Caleb thing. We called Caleb being the number one pick, and we said you should commit to that. We were all on the anti-JJ ban train.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we've been justified in that so far.
Yeah. I mean, but besides, Chicago's defense, week one, screwing it all up, like, JJ really hasn't had that performance, and his meme.
At least consistently.
And that meme of him in the locker room, like, it's that's where his name is tagged to, it's like, because he's not working out, and it's one of those things that I look back. I talked to a Vikings fan the other day, and I was like, hey, what do you truly think about JJ? And he's like, well, and he gave me the standard fan answer, and I was just like, dude, call a spade, man. Like, I really want you to just be like, he sucks, but like he wouldn't say it, and I was just like, so you would have rather taken JJ rather than paying Sam Darnold? And he straight up said yes. And I was like, take away the playoffs. And he still said yes. And I was just like, all right. Like, I don't see the progression out of McCarthy in year one. Like, Caleb still showed he had something there. Like, yes, he was under duress. He got sacked like 69 times last year, league high. Like, Caleb was still making throws that you're like, okay, get him some help on the offensive line, and we're going to start seeing something here. And I haven't seen that type of progression out of JJ yet.
That's the key. We've talked about it in like previous years that I feel like when you find that's what when we get to the Bears, I know we keep leading up to this game of the Bears. Both of us are going to have a lot to say. It's one of those, we've talked about this with quarterbacks, that there's something different. Like when you watch Mahomes that first season, you were like, yo, Chiefs got a quarterback. Like when you see Herbert, you're like, yo, Chargers got a quarterback. And on the opposite end, you sit back and it's like, I could have told you the Dolphins still did. I love Tua. I love what he did at Bama. Tua's not an NFL quarterback. Tua is too inconsistent to be paid the money that he's being paid. Like, plain simple. And at least the Bears did a good job of not paying Trubisky more and not paying Fields more. And I feel like if you look at both of those guys, I'd put them right in the JJ bucket of saying, look, did they have games that you were like, whoa, that was a good game? Yeah. But at no point did I feel like with both of those guys, with Fields and Trubisky, that I sat back and I was like, yo, they found their guy. Like, that was who they needed. Like, at no point have I watched JJ play and be like, that's the first rounder. It's all like Penix. Like, in other guy, and it has nothing to do with Penix getting hurt, but it's like, I've watched him play. Is he bad? Like, don't get me wrong, there's some games that JJ would have had a higher QBR if he spiked the ball into the ground every single play than how he played. And that's not me making it up. That's a straight fact. Like, he literally had a less QBR than if he had just spiked it in the ground every single time. But I haven't seen him play that I was like, yo, that's a first round guy. Like, that's the talent you're looking for. Haven't seen it.
Well, and that was the thing. Like, even going against the Bears the second time, like, he couldn't hit a wide open receiver to save his life. Like, just an easy out route. Can't hit it. It's just like, dude, this is kind of what I fell back on of, at Michigan, all he had to do was hand the ball off. He hardly ever threw the ball. And, like, I still just don't see what they saw on tape, personally. Besides the national championship.
This is I can't prove this, but logic tells me it's correct. Okay? I feel like he was drafted because the coaches live in Minnesota. In Michigan is a North team. So the majority of time, they got to see, when they turned on their television and they watch highlights, who did they see? Michigan. And I think it leads to this where, as much as NFL teams have the array to pick everyone, I do get the sense that sometimes these teams, they go, well, this is the kid that we know him so well because we saw him all the time. I think there is this like almost like homegrown feel when it really, there is no homegrown feel. Like, don't get me wrong, there were guys that would have loved, Tom Brady grew up loving the Niners, wasn't drafted by him. He didn't play, if he had played in Cal, it's sort of like the Aaron Rodgers thing with San Francisco. Like, it was an astounding thing that they didn't take him, which I think a lot of that was put into this throwing motion, which turned out to be one of the greatest throwing motions in the history of pro football was Aaron Rodgers' throwing motion. There was zero wrong with it. Zero. I think there are studies that people could do to try to replicate his throwing motion in a lab that can't do it. Like, amazing. I just sort of sit back and I really think Minnesota got enamored with a guy that won the championship from up there, and that's who they saw. Like, they weren't, it's a fail in the scouting department, and it's also this like FOMO, this fear of missing out, that it's like, well, he won the Natty, like he must be good. And it's like, that doesn't work. It's sort of like Heisman winners. There's a lot of Heisman quarterbacks. You nailed it with the Jeopardy question. Jason White. Here's this guy, wins it with Oklahoma, everything. Dude wasn't even drafted. Like, why? Because that doesn't mean you're necessarily the best player. Winning the Natty doesn't mean that you're going to be a first-round pick. But we value the position of quarterback so much, we're willing to spend on it. So, you got the Lions or the Vikings?
Lions.
Same. The evening game. Denver's a 13.5-point favorite against the Chiefs, who lost to the Titans. Like, and I felt awful for Minshew. It's like, yeah. I told them all on the phone, it gave me Teddy Bridgewater vibes. Like, Minshew went to the Chiefs And I have to imagine they were like, hey, well, I don't even know what his salary is, but I'm going to guess it's probably like in the $2 million range.
Yeah.
He was probably like, yo, like if I went home to my wife, she's like, did you sign? Yeah, I signed with the Chiefs. Like, don't they have Mahomes? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to make $2 million this year and never have to work. Like, at most, I'm going to have to go in and take a knee at the end of the game or something, or play during the preseason. Ugh. Like, preseason's my biggest threat of getting hurt. Like, that's it. Outside of that, I'm going to be sitting on the sideline with a tablet, and I'll go talk to Mahomes when he comes over on the bench. Like, but outside of that, I don't do anything during the game. So when he came in, that's how I feel like about these backup quarterbacks, is they're just like, oh, I didn't want to work. I just wanted this money and not to have to do anything. Like, and then he tears his ACL. Like, I felt bad for him. And then it was clear that the Chiefs' third-string guy was just like, what do you want me to do again? Like, he was lost. So, which the Chiefs looked like they gave up. Like,
sure.
Defense gave up. They didn't stop the Chiefs' defense from not preventing the Titans from scoring, and Titans drove it on them. I mean, I think the Broncos are going to murder the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I think the one thing that is becoming more apparent, I think Kelsey's done. You know, like the body language and everything, you know, like just how disappointed he's been these last couple of games. Like, I think in his mind, he's already made the decision, you know, and he's just waiting for the formal announcement to keep the light off of him while the season's still going on. But I think the rumors are, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think he's going to be done, you know, so like, it's a horrible way to go out. Like, your last season, you lose your best friend, you know, outside on, just in life, you know, and it's crazy to see just how bad they've been this year, though. You know, like that's the one thing to me is like, they have not pulled away, and I get it. It all boils back down to they have no run game. You know, the weapons aren't really weapons, you know, and dude, I did not see such a terrible season coming out of the Chiefs. I would have seen.
What am I going to say? Said it in the text. 4 of their 5 starter offensive linemen are on the IR.
Yeah.
Like, this to me is like the perfect example. Is Mahomes the best quarterback in the league? Yes. Yeah. Yes. But when you put him behind a bad offensive line, it is going to create all of these problems. Like, your wide receivers don't look as good. Your run game doesn't look. All of the issues go in behind it. Like, it's what makes Joe, like, honestly, from a standpoint of like playing the position of quarterback, it's hard to argue that Joe Burrow's not the best, because with all the trash he deals with, my man still somehow wins games. Like, mind blowing. Like, I don't know if Mahomes wins with the Bengals. Like, that's how. If you took Joe Burrow and put him behind Kansas City from 2 years ago, like, Kansas City's, they may go undefeated in the regular season. Like, that's how good Burrow is. And that's not trying to take anything away from Mahomes. It's just like from a standpoint of offensive line. But I will agree with you from the standpoint of the team has been, I think age really caught up with them. And this to me is where now you have to, this is what made Brady so special. Think about it. Like, and what's nuts is they're on the exact same timeline. Did you see that thing off of football, NFL memes?
No.
Brady lost his Super Bowl in year 8. Mahomes did the same. The following season's when Brady tore his ACL.
Wow.
And Mahomes, so they're on the exact same timeline.
That's crazy.
Exact same timeline. Now, post his ACL, he still won all those 4 more Super Bowls. So, I mean, but some things that are going to change for Mahomes that are different from Brady. You already think Kelsey's leaving. I'm in the same boat. Here's the even bigger question. Is this Reed's last year?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
I don't think he goes out like this. I think him and Spags will try to come back one last season, you know, with everybody healthy. I can see one last push. But yeah, I don't see Reed stepping down this season.
Reed's a coin toss to me. Mainly because I think the health on the offensive line will be better. You still are going to have you'll have actually a really good first round pick now. Like you're not at the bottom of the first round. You're probably going to be able to go get someone pretty impactful out of the draft that's going to help you right now, or you could always trade and go get another body. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a lot of options. I think the other question going into this offseason for the Chiefs is, how long does it take Mahomes to get healthy? Because I would say he will be lucky to get on the field week 1. And that's nothing against Mahomes and it's all just about how your body comes from a standpoint of recovery. Now, he did have surgery the very next day. So he is going into the rehab process I guarantee you he's already bending his knee. They are, and he will have a team. Like, we sort of sit back and look at ours. Like, if I tore my ACL right now, I'd probably be out for a year and a half because I don't have world-class doctors and everything helping me out every step of the way. He's going to have that. So there's a great chance that he'll be on the field the first available play, but still, even for him, it's going to be tough to get back week 1 and be completely healthy. He'll probably wear a brace for the rest of his career. So like Brady, eventually you got to start protecting the body. And it's going to affect, honestly, that's the other question. Like the Mahomes scrambles, how does that affect him going down the road? It's going to. It's going to change that dynamic. How does he go from here? Do you think he ever matches Brady?
I don't think he matches Brady just because, just like you were saying, Reed's not going to hold on as long as Bill Belichick. I think, Reed has a lot more stability at home, and I think he's ready to.
Yeah, he's not dating a 24-year-old.
Yeah. And so I think, Reed's at the end of the road, and it's just a matter of when, him and I think Linda is her name, whenever they decide to hang it up and call it a good career.
I think Spag will take over. That would be my gut, is saying that. And then it comes down to, can you find an offensive coordinator that can be like Reed? Yeah. That spurs that curiosity and just having great play calls. And let me tell you, he's going to have to find another tight end. Like they're going to go through these waves I guarantee you the Chiefs are going to have some years that you go, man, they're struggling. Now, this is the greatest Brady stat I can ever repeat. This is wild. Brady never took a snap in the NFL in which they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
That's pretty solid.
Is that not wild?
Yeah.
Like, that to me speaks about how good that Patriots run was. The Chiefs were literally, every record that they're like, here's where they finish, it was just one behind the Patriots. Like, it was a tremendous dynasty, and I sent you guys that picture. It was sort of ominous, but I thought it was really symbolic of Mahomes is being helped down the tunnel on guys' shoulders, and to his right is all the banners. And it was almost like the closing of the dynasty at that point from that picture. So I think in 10, 15 years, we maybe look back at that and be like, oh, that was the end of the Chiefs dynasty from that point. But we both got the Broncos. Sorry, we're getting carried away here. All right, Saturday. Texans-Chargers. Texans struggle with the Raiders of all teams. Like, could not put them away. The Chargers put away Dallas. Chargers 2.5-point favorites in the game. Thoughts?
I mean, based on what I saw last week, just the offense being able to click on cylinders, receivers being able to catch the ball. Like, I like the Chargers going into this. This is a realistic. I mean, this is a playoff game. In the terms of you get that matchup during the season. While it doesn't necessarily have too big of implications if you do lose, but it also gets you ready going into what's coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just taking a look just to double check before I speak. Right now, in terms of the AFC playoff picture, there are only 2 teams that have not secured, so 5 of the 7 teams are locked in the playoffs. Now, in terms of seeding, that isn't set yet. You got the Broncos right now at the 1 seed, Patriots 2, Jags 3, Chargers 5, Bills 6. The Steelers have a 91% chance to pretty much win their division. They have to lose this weekend against the Browns and then lose against the Ravens for the Ravens and some other stuff to happen for the Ravens to go in, win the AFC North and take over the Steelers. The Texans are sitting at 97%, which when the Colts lost last night to San Francisco, it pretty much locked it up. It isn't a sure lock right now, but the Texans are in that position. So the Texans actually need this game. Like,
Correct.
The Chargers are sitting, I don't think the Chargers, I haven't looked, but from a standpoint, Broncos are sitting there 12-3, Chargers are 11-4. I think there is still probably a possibility that the Chargers could win the division from that standpoint. I haven't seen, yet it doesn't say that they've clinched that first round bye for the Broncos. I'm in the same boat. Like, I think that Harbaugh and those guys are going to come out. The only thing that gives me pause is that Houston's defensive line, Herbert's been beat up like Burrow has. Like,
yes.
They're trying to keep that man alive at some point in this game. Tough kid. That's the only thing that worries me for the Chargers. But
yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. You know, with that offensive line being hurt, like he got hit pretty good just a couple of nights ago against Dallas. You know, obviously the scoreboard looked differently, but Texans have the ability to get to them, and that's going to be where C.J. Stroud has to step up. If the defense does, C.J. Stroud's going to have to, you know, put on a performance against the defense, and that's where I still have question marks, you know, with what C.J. Stroud are we going to see. You know, like the Raiders had no business being in that game last week, and yet here they were.
Yeah. Well, Maul said it. C.J. Stroud has not played good since that freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really struggled. And honestly, it's the reason the Texans, I mean, outside of, if Stingley doesn't get that pick six, Texans aren't winning this game.
Yep.
Like, offensively, they don't have it. So, I'll take the Chargers as well. And then the evening game, Ravens, Packers. Ravens got to win in order to keep any playoff hope alive. Packers, haven't heard yet. I would be willing to say that Jordan Love doesn't play because of the concussion. They're probably going to try to keep him as fresh as they can for the last, that they end up having one more NFC game to really decide it going into week 18 for the Packers, which they are in and up as I pull it up real quick. And they're playing the Vikings at Minnesota. That's really going to decide whether the Packers get into the playoffs or not. They really, I mean, playoff picture right now, the NFC has sixth locked team, they have the same 5 locked teams. The teams in the hunt are the Panthers and Packers, and the teams on the bubble are the Lions, Bucks. The Lions need a lot to go right for them. Bucks, Panthers is going to come down the next week when they end up playing one another of who goes into the playoffs or not. Do the Packers win the game with Willis?
With Willis, well, here's the other part. You know, Lamar went out with the back bruise. You know,
Yeah.
and so like you're just asking yourself, like, when it all came down to it, like you bruised your back and you sat out the second half, you know, and lost your team the game. I'm not going to say he lost the game, but obviously it had an impact because now Huntley's playing the second half. And the one thing that I did want to bring up with where it gives the Packers the advantage, this year alone they've had 7 games. 7 games where they were in the lead comfortably in the fourth quarter. These are the fourth quarter. And they still came back and lost it, or they still lost the game. Miami, Buffalo, actually Buffalo twice.
You talking about Baltimore or Green Bay?
Baltimore.
Okay.
So week 2, Baltimore, Miami. Baltimore was up 35-14 in the fourth quarter. Still lost the game. Buffalo 20-3. Giants, it was 20-10. Jaguars, they're up 19-10. Baltimore was up 10-0 against the Steelers, 24-9 against the Browns, 34-25 in the fourth against Buffalo again, and then this past week in the fourth quarter, 24-13. And it's just like, dude, you guys can't close out the games. And honestly, if Malik Willis plays the way that he did against Chicago Bears, like, it's anybody's ball game. Because I was still very impressed with Green Bay's defense, despite Micah Parsons not playing. Malik had a game of his life, and the only thing that cost him was his turnover on 4th and short in overtime. Malik was having a solid game until that moment. And for the Ravens, I look back, Derrick Henry was on the bench the last drive. It's like
he was on the bench for the last 12 minutes of the game.
It's like, what are you doing?
And they asked Harbaugh, and he's like, he should have been out there. And I wanted to be like,
you're the head coach.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah. And like that to me was like, there's some internal thing that's going on with the Ravens this season that it does not look good, and it's just a matter of time before it all comes spilling out. But it's like you can't trust them, so as much as I would love for them to beat the Packers, like I realistically see, the Packers being able to win this game just because that defense will be able to stop them.
Yeah, I can't trust the Ravens. I'm sure not going to trust them right now. Then going into Sunday, a lot of games that don't have a lot of importance. We'll still pick winners. Cardinals, Bengals. Bengals right now -7.
Give me Joey B.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals, especially with how the Cardinals have played here recently. The game that does have importance: Steelers at the Browns. Pittsburgh's -3.5-point favorites. Do you like Shador's? Played well.
He's playing great. Like you got to give the hats off to the kid. Like obviously he's going to have the rookie struggles. You can't expect him to have anything more than that. But like he's making the plays that he needs to. He's keeping the team in the ball game. Like the only problem is that they're just coming up short at the end of the game. Like outside of his game against Chicago, I'm just going to, just because we won 31-3. But like outside of that game, my man has played pretty solid. And what more could you expect out of a rookie quarterback? Who been dogged all season, still getting dogged, and he's coming out and playing. I honestly, man, if Myles Garrett can get to Aaron Rodgers, I could see the upset. It's a division game. It's in Cleveland. Like, I'm gonna do it. Give me the Browns, and DK's not playing.
That was what I was waiting to see if you were going to bring it up. That to me is why the Browns are going to win the game.
Did you see what happened?
Yes, I saw what happened. He punched that dude in the stands.
Yeah, but did you see what happened with his contract?
Oh, dude,
He got voided. He got
Yes.
voided. It's like, you idiot.
And so what Pops is talking about is, so in DK's contract, he has $40 million of guarantees. Well, if this suspension holds up, it's voided. Now, what that means is that he still has the opportunity to, as long as he plays in the games, to get paid that money. He's still owed it as long as he plays. But if they decide to cut him, or I thought the bigger part was he had a $20 million guaranteed if he got injured. If he gets injured, they can cut him, and they don't owe him that money. So, to me, that is like, it is the biggest. If I really believe that if you gave us, me and you, not professional athletes, and you were like, hey, if you will just not fight anyone at Walmart or Kroger, you get $40 million. I wouldn't swing. I wouldn't open my mouth. Dude, you beat me as much as you want. I'll just call the police. Like, I'm for sure not leaving the sideline and going over to the stands where I don't have to be. I get guys are probably saying some stuff that would make, my mom would probably cry if she heard some of it.
But the videos that's come out, the guy didn't say anything. Besides his name.
It's one of those ones that's like, dude, DK controlled that entire scenario. Like, you didn't have to let it affect you. You didn't have to leave your bench. You didn't have to go over there. You didn't have to throw a punch. You didn't have to grab it. All of it was on you. I get the fans are going to say stuff all the time. So like when that fan was leaning over talking to Baker, it's like they're going to talk trash. Like, hate it for you, but that's the NFL. Like, that's why you get paid all this money. You ruined it. I look at it from the standpoint of, outside of that Antonio Freeman Monday night catch that the Steelers had against the Lions in the second half, like, the Lions had to control the game in the first. And that right before half changed the entire outcome of the game. Like, and now without DK, I think the Steelers offense is going to struggle. Like, they don't have a wide receiver at that point. Like, you have Kenneth Gainwell and as I called him last week, you get a D10 bulldozer in Washington. I mean, did you see that fourth quarter where he bodied that corner?
Yes, and then he threw two other dudes.
Get him the ball every play. Dude, just start lining that dude up in the backfield. Like, I want to watch him run over people. Yeah. Like, dude, yeah. Give Washington the football. They should be able to beat the Browns, but from a standpoint of DK not being there, I think Myles Garrett's going to try to get a few sacks. Shador hasn't played bad.
Get the record. Dude, even that. Get the record against TJ Watt's team.
Oh, yeah. Give me the Browns. I'm with you. Saints, Saints are 2.5-point favorites. Would I be understated in saying right now the Saints are playing the best football in the NFC South?
Dude, they're playing real solid. Yeah, like I've been surprised by them lately, and dude, I kind of like it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, give me the Saints against Titans. I know the Titans came off a victory, but that was against a mangled Chiefs team that's not playing good. The Saints are playing good. Give me the Saints.
Yep. Same.
Jags Colts. For as much, I will 100% sit on here and say, for as much crap as we've talked about Trevor Lawrence playing, he's finally living up to the first round pick this year.
Yep. So then I beg that question: was it the coaching?
Yes.
You know, like that.
Urban Meyer
and Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Scheme matters so much, and also having a great defense helps. It helps bail you out of some situations that I think in years prior he had more pressure on him to put up 30-point games, and he's not having to do that right now, and I think that helps. Like,
for sure.
And on the other side, as good as Trevor Lawrence has looked, let me tell you something. Watching Phillip Rivers put on a masterclass of dissecting a defense was incredible. Like, I think that speaks more volumes about how more guys in the NFL right now rely on talent than their brain. Because if more guys studied film like a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers did, in coming out of 5 years of being retired and is able to come on the field and literally carve up defenses, if that isn't State Hall of Fame last night, I don't know what does. Like, dude.
And that's the thing. Like, if you gave him his arm 10 years ago, like, that's the only thing my man does not have is, that arm. But he's throwing anticipation balls. He knows it's going to be there. So, like, you can't get on him for not having any velocity when the ball's there. Yeah. And that, again, goes to show with that diatribe that Brady had, I think, like 2 seasons ago, talking about the downplay or the inability to move up to these more complex systems. Like the coaching staffs are having to take it down to the college level for these younger guys because they just don't understand it. And it showed, dude. Like, you put Phillip Rivers in there, and, I mean, yeah, like, honestly, I can't say he's better than Joe Flacco, but after 2 games. But a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, like, in my opinion, he's been showing greater glimpses than, a 38-year-old Joe Flacco.
I'll 100% say he is. Like, the only reason Flacco's there is because of the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but from a stamp, that was like Manning-esque last. Like, that's what made Manning great. Like, dude, Manning knew the defense. Like, and guess what? What the coach can't. You can't. All the defensive players can't look to the sideline and be like, "So what do we do now?" Like. The game happens too quick in the pros. And so when you're able to break it down, be like, boom, 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 hike. Like, and that's what he did. He got them set and immediately was like, on one, let's go. And, dude, the only problem for Indy last night is it was like, I saw that meme. It was like, hey, man, you're going to have a great game at 44 years old. It's going to be great. And your defense is like, nah, we ain't playing for you tonight. Like, I mean, Purdy had 5 touchdowns against the Colts. And the Jags come off the huge win against the Broncos. I have to take the Jags in this game. Like,
I'm in the same boat because you're not resting starters yet. Like, again, you're playing another good defense. Like,
Jags win out, they have the number 1 seed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got a little bit of motivation to play for, as well as the 49ers defense, which I was going to get to in a second, like, it's not as good. Like, they are missing their pieces. Obviously, Fred Warner being in the middle, Nick Bosa, despite his overratedness, like, you are missing pieces on that defense. And, I mean, Phillip Rivers was able to put up 27 last night, so.
Yeah. Next game. Bucks Dolphins. Just when you thought Tua was the worst thing, you had Quinn Ewers step in the pocket, so it can get worse. My man threw 3 picks. It looked like it was in college. Like it just arm, he doesn't have an NFL arm.
Yep.
Like it's not there. Like at least that's what I took from it.
Yeah, and the Bucks need a bounce back game so bad. Like last week against the Panthers, like I just you hate to see it because like this is the Buccaneers every year. They ride 500, able to squeak into the playoffs, and it's just like, dude, like you have the talent, you have the ability. Like, what is Bowles doing? That they start out so hot and then just cool off in the middle of the season.
Everyone's putting this on Baker too. Dude, that defense is garbage. Garbage. They had a linebacker, Gordon McMillan, at the end of the first half, and it was like, yeah, of course Bryce is going to throw it there, and of course he got burnt. Like the Bucks defensively, things have got to change 100%. I still think they win this game just because Dolphins playing horrific football. But and then it leads into the matchup next week, Bucks Panthers. Really for the Panthers have to beat Seattle to give themselves a chance, and that's the reason the Bucks are still favored to win, just because of what has to happen with the Panthers. Yeah. But the Bucks will at least win this game. Then next, Patriots Jets. Patriots are the other 13.5-point favorite this weekend, playing against the Jets that have given up on the season. They have been giving up on the season, I think, since the 1960s. Any chance the Jets cover the spread? I won't even say win the game.
No.
Yeah, give me the Patriots. As we just talked about, Panthers, Seattle. Panthers home game. Seattle 7.5-point favorite. Seattle still, they're trying to get the number 1 seed in the NFC as well, so they still have stuff to play for.
And the division. Can the Panthers pull off the upset twice against the NFC West after beating the Rams a few weeks ago? Can they do the same against Seattle? I truly don't see it, man. Like, I thought last Thursday's game, Rams and Seattle, like, that was the best of the best in the NFC. And, I mean, it came down to the wire, So, like, in my personal opinion, I don't think the Panthers aren't there yet. Like, I love the story. I love how they've rebuilt after, the last couple of seasons of just straight dumpster fire. Canelo's got them playing good. They're not there yet. And the way Seattle's playing, not a chance.
Yeah, I don't see lightning striking twice for the Panthers. They got lucky. Stafford turned the ball over 3 times, pick 6. Which could easily happen against Darnold. But especially after how they won that game, being in the driver's seat, I think it gives Darnold a lot of confidence beating the Rams. I like him to handle the Panthers. Giants Raiders, for those of you who want to watch just terrible football on a Sunday. Raiders 1.5-point favorite. Do you like Dart or do you like Geno Smith to win the game?
Dude, honestly, I feel like the Raiders are waiting to win one. Like they've played they did get dog walked by the Eagles 2 weeks ago, but I mean, they almost beat the Texans last week. I can't really say the same for the Giants after their struggle with the Vikings a couple of days ago and J.J. McCarthy. Like, I'm going to give this one to the Raiders just because, again, they played really good last week.
I like the Raiders too. Mine is a little bit different from the standpoint of they're playing well. It's more about how poorly the Giants' defense has played. Like, their defensive line has just quit in the second half of the season. Like, it's non-existent. Coaching changes. It feels like the team is just trying its best to finish out the season so they go home. So I will take the Raiders in that. Then finally get to 3 really good games. So first, Eagles, Bills, Buffalo right now, 1.5 favorite. Games at Buffalo. Um, both of the Buffalo needs it in order to compete with the Patriots for the division crown, and they still have to have the Patriots stumble. Do the Bills come out with a win?
The one thing that, I mean, we've seen it. They get down and they let, like, at what point, what team that gets up early is Buffalo not going to be able to come back on? Like that's the one thing. And obviously Vegas calling it 1.5. Like, I think the 1.5 is just the pause for the lack of offensive abilities from the Eagles. Like, yeah, they put up, 30 against the Raiders, and they put up 29 the other night against Washington. But it's like, we have not seen that consistency out of the Eagles offense to be like, yep, they're the same team as last year, because we all know that's not true. But then it's also like, well, what version of Josh Allen are we going to get that's going to keep this team in the game? With it, I mean, they both play in the Northeast, so, I mean, you can't even look at weather as a factor. But, dude, I'm going with the Eagles.
I am as well, because if Judkins doesn't get hurt in the Browns game, the Browns win that game.
Yeah.
Like, and it's because Buffalo's run defense is atrocious, and if there's one saving grace to a bad offense in terms of offensive play calling for the Eagles, it's that, hey, when you go against a team that can't stop the run, just run the football with Saquon. And I think Saquon has a huge game, and they beat Buffalo. So I got the Eagles in the game. Then Sunday night, here we go. Bears, Niners. So I'll let you take it off with the Bears and your team.
Yeah, man. Last week, the only thing, because I texted my buddy, you might laugh at this. I texted my buddy. I was driving back home from the airport. I was listening to it, and it was the fourth quarter. It was still 16-6 at this point, and I saw the field goal made it 16-9, and I was just like, gosh, like, first off, the timing of Cairo Santos to get on the field, like, get the kickoff before the 2-minute. He didn't. And I was like, well, we couldn't even beat you with the backups, and then that onside kick happened, and I was like, oh, we got the ball back. And then I was like, holy crap, we're about to score. And then we do score. And I was just like, I texted him and I said, I retract that statement. But that was the one thing that the Bears have been doing these last couple of games, is not playing well. Like, they're leading the league in, the fourth quarter comebacks this year. That's the thing that I wish, because early in the season we would score early and then stall out the rest of the game. Now we can't score early, but we're catching fire at the end of the game. It's like, if we play that way against a good team, we're going to end up losing. The one nice thing is that the 49ers have a terrible rush offense right now. So I'm hoping, we can do a Eagles-type game plan where we get almost 300 yards on the ground and we're able to just take off and actually convert. That's what gives me pause, because we also know the 49ers offense is, as good as any, right, especially right now. Like last night's performance, with Purdy throwing 5 touchdowns. Kittle, it's really curious what's going to happen to him as this week progresses, because he went out of the game last night. But you got to stop McCaffrey as well. So I think if the Bears are able to get takeaways, which they're leading the league in right now, if they're able to find a way to make Purdy make mistakes, I think the Bears can win. With that being said, I am choosing the 49ers just because the offensive struggles of the Bears as of late, even last week against the Packers, like, it took overtime to beat the backups, without a Micah Parsons. We knocked Jordan Love out of the game. Like, I'm not sold on him yet. And what I will say to close this all out, I told you guys, I was like, hey, my threshold this year is playoffs. We've done that. So like now this is just icing on the cake. So if we end up winning the game, I'm going to be elated, but I just don't see it happening. going into this week, especially in San Francisco.
I think just to clarify for the listeners, you said San Francisco's run offense is bad. I think you meant their defense. Defense is
Their defense, their run defense is bad.
Run
Yeah, my
defense
bad.
is bad.
Yeah.
This is where, for me, Chicago, it will come to. I heard it in the game last night from Troy Aikman. And it's very true for the Bears. San Francisco is going to let you drive the ball. Their defense is not this lockdown defense, missing too many guys. San Francisco gets a lot better in the red zone. They've limited teams to field goals. They've bent, but they haven't broke. Can Caleb Williams and that offense get in the end zone? That, to me, is that determines the game. I think the Bears, in terms of yardage, like if you're a player prop guy, they're probably going to have all that. Like Caleb's probably going to throw for over 200 yards. Guys are going to have a big game statistically, but do they settle for field goals or do they score touchdowns?
Yep.
If they score touchdowns, I still think it's possibly close just because San Francisco, Kittle may be out. That offense revolves around one dude, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude put a linebacker in a blender last night on that second touchdown. Dude just stood there. It was like McCaffrey sort of ran up and was just like, see ya. And it was like, you can't catch up. Like he is a problem one-on-one. Like he's a mismatch wherever you put him on the field. The Bears defense, even you will agree, is not at any point what I would say a great defense this year.
No, they give up almost the most yards allowed, but they got the takeaways. Like that's the one thing that saves them.
So I sit back and I go, if the Bears win, it's a shootout. Like the over for the game right now is 52.5. Like I think it's like easily in the 30s for both teams. If the Bears can score touchdowns, and even then, I think it will come down to like who can just not turn the ball over. Like if the Bears can get a turnover or two and build a 10-point, 2 touchdown lead and sort of keep it there going back and forth, Bears win the game. But if they settle for field goals, I sit back and I go, San Francisco's win the game. I'm with you. I knew this going into this. We didn't talk pre-hand. I was taking the Niners just for that fact. If you watch the Green Bay game, Green Bay should have won the game.
Oh, 100%.
Like Green Bay had that game. The Bears miraculously came away with it at the end, but Chicago's offense really didn't show up until the fourth quarter. Like that can't happen against San Francisco's playing very hot. Like
now, I will say we do get a Dunze and Burden back. Like
yes,
that's the one thing. Like there was a couple plays where Zacchaeus, like yes, he's had some great plays, but I've seen him drop more than he's caught this year. It's just like when he's your number 2 option outside of DJ Moore, like he's not cutting it.
Yeah, and that's why I got the Niners in the game. So we'll see if the Bears come out with a win, like you said, elate it for you and the Bears, but we'll find out.
Dude, funny
what
story.
The Bears are made out of.
I actually looked into going to this game because I was like, hey, it's Christmas break. Like, I'm going to be off work. I know Grandma's going to take the kids. Like, me and Allie go out to San Francisco. Dude, it was going to cost me $3,000. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it from home. Like, I'm good, dog.
I feel you, man. Save the money for the playoff game. All right, Monday night, Rams, Falcons. I sort of lied. I said there was 3 more good games. We'll see how the Falcons want to play. Rams, as you pointed, like they come off the loss to Seattle, they're going to be hungry. The Falcons' defense hasn't played bad. Like the Falcons have played physical. They've been competitive, even with Cousins playing, which I think says that, hey, Cousins still is he in a backup role now? I think that is correct, but he's a better than most backups. Like that's why they're still paying him $60 million a year to play a position of backup. That's more of a Atlanta Falcons administrative decision than anything else, but that's what they're doing. Do the Falcons have any chance of beating the Rams?
I don't think so. I mean, the Rams were in well possession of that Seattle game, and then were they up 10, 2 scores? However many they were up, and then Seattle just was able to walk back into the game. Like, I don't see the Rams having that ability I I don't see the Falcons having that ability with their offense to be able to keep up. Like there's just too much explosiveness, and then, guys are going to be in Kirk Cousins' face all night. Like the Rams they're honestly probably my NFC favorite, even despite the loss to, like I said that a couple weeks ago, even despite the loss to Seattle, like I still think the Rams just all around are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that. And that wraps up week 17. You got anything else?
No, man.
All right, we'll find out here in a few weeks who the Bears' playoff matchup's going to be, and we'll get in the playoffs, get in the week 18 next week, and playoff city. So good. What a time to be alive for a football fan. All right, well, that's all I got. Time to pull chalks. We'll see you guys next week.